Thank you everyone for being here tonight. What a beautiful night. We have some lovely artists today, and I am just so honored that we get to host this event every month, Y Exchange, talking across art, science, technology, and bringing artists in conversation with the community to engage in cross and interdisciplinary work. So today we're really excited. We got 3 artists that we're going to be featuring tonight. We have Ye Feng, she's going to be our first artist. And then we're going to have Miguel and Pierre Mariaca. Hello. And they're going to go second in order of things. And at the very end, we're going to have a nice, lovely open Q&A where everyone can share their faces and their questions and their curiosities about the work. I definitely open people to ask questions to both artists or all 3 of them, see what you can find that crosses over between their work and how it works, you know, the disciplines, how they bleed into one another and so forth. So feel free to add your questions in the chat while the presentations are happening, and then afterwards we'll open up the Q&A. Just as a reminder, Y Exchange is recorded, so there will be a recording for the artists as well as sort of like an archive. So if you feel uncomfortable being recorded, please let me know. You can directly message me. Also, you can just turn off your video, and you don't have to worry about that. We are co-presenting this event with ODC Theater, Kinetech Arts, which is us, and also the Djerassi Residence Artist Program. And again, we do this every month, usually the last Wednesday of the month, but sometimes it varies, but always stay tuned because we have our social media, our website that shows when we have, and our meetup that shows when we have Y Exchange. Also our open labs when we do have those. So that's it. I'm Alex, your chat moderator. So if you have any questions, feel free to directly message me. And I want to get started right away because we have some really great work. And I'm going to let Wei introduce our first, Wei is going to introduce our first artist today. And take it away.
Hey, everyone. Wonderful to be here together for the evening. Well, for Jara, it's in morning. She's from Shanghai. Well, I'm really happy to introduce Ye Feng. Actually, let me speak her name properly in Chinese. Feng Ye. Feng Ye. That's right. Yeah. So Feng Ye.
Feng Ye.
Feng Ye.
Yes.
Feng Ye.
Yes.
Well, excuse my Chinese. It is a national first-class dancer in China. So it's actually it's a 国家一级舞蹈演员. She was a seasoned professional, served as artistic director and the president of the dance company in China National Song and Dance Troupe. I mean, for people outside of China may not know this, but I'm from China originally. I know if there's one dance company that everybody knows in China, that is this company. It's a Dongfang Girl Tuan. Every year during the Chinese New Year celebration, Spring Festival, people get to see a peek of what they do. It's fascinating. It's amazing dance company. And so as performer, choreographer, and artistic director, her work were presented in Olympic opening and closing ceremony 3 times in 2004, 2008, and 2014. 2008 is Beijing Olympic, right? I remember there's the opening ceremony was like really magnificent. So in the South Bay Area, Ye Feng moved to South Bay, San Jose. She launched the Feng Ye Dance Studio and Feng Ye Dance Troupe, and successfully produced and performed a grand annual gala entitled Encounter. at the San Jose Art Center Montgomery Theater in 2018, and Dance with Nature at the Call Theater in San Francisco in 2019. That was right before pandemic. For 2 consecutive years, the Feng Ye dance troupe was selected as the only representative of Chinese dance to participate in the San Francisco Ethnic Dance Festival. Feng Ye has emerged as an important figure in the region, promoting the integration of dance culture from multiple ethnic groups. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm going to shift the stage to Feng Ye.
Thank you, Wei Dongyang. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Ye Feng. I'm Feng Ye. Okay. You can call me Ye or Yi, both okay. And it's my great pleasure to give a talk in Y Exchange. Thank you for inviting me tonight. And today I'm going to discuss object, body, and dance, and how they relate to each other. So right now, first things I would like everyone to find an daily object in your everyday life, and it can be small or bigger, or if you want to make some sound or not, both okay. And I want you think about the relationship between you and this object, and what do you usually to do with it, and how you interact with it. So I give you 1 minute. So just find something. Maybe can paper or something like that, or anything. Okay. 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 Yeah. Okay. Oh. Thank you. I prepared something for I want to share with you. I prepare some my daily life object, ball, and plate, and chopsticks, and teacups, and we where is it? That's all. Okay. Yeah, and from start to here. And first thing, I want to talk from a traditional Chinese folk dance, Chinese ethnic dance with the used object. For example, there have a lot of type dance with objects. First thing, let me show you. This is okay. Sorry. Actually, this is a liquor cups dance, but I don't have a small liquor cups. I have a bigger, so I just use the teacups. So the type dance from Mongolia. Liquor， 魏忠阳这白酒杯酒盅应该是要说 liquor cups, right?
It's a wine. It's like more like a whiskey cup or something, and the whiskey
Chinese
is
whiskey cup.
Yeah.
Just for drink, not tea. But this is a teacup. Sorry. Okay, they use the cups and make sounds and to dance. Do you heard that? Yeah, and they use their hand to do 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, this is the very hard skill from Mongolia. Yes, it's very interesting. And the second one, I want to show you the ball dance. They use the ball, put under their head to dance. Yeah, and it's very hard to balance. They use their up body. Okay, let me show you my body. Oops. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And they use the shoulder, and ding 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 10 10 10 10. Yeah, this is from Mongolia. And yeah, you can try something, put your head. And there also have a Uyghur dance from my hometown. Okay, Uyghur ethnic Uyghur dance. They also put their head and use their neck. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And put some alcohol in here when they finish the dance, and show you drink maybe. I don't know. Okay, they use almost 7 balls, or 5 or 3. Yeah, I just have a 2. Sorry, I can show you some more. Yeah, this is about the balls, and other one is from chopsticks, also from Mongolia dance. Here is a lot chopsticks. They also make sound. Yeah. Yes. And last one. Okay. There are a lot. Sorry. Last one is plate dance. Plate dance. They use chopsticks. Wow. Okay. This is from Uyghur dance. It's from my hometown. Yeah, like that. And they also change the chopsticks, use the ring, put the middle finger, and makes different sound. Like that. Interesting. Okay, yeah, there have a lot type of dance with another object in Chinese ethnic group. So I learned a lot. Yeah, I just want to share something for you. It's a from first thing, and I think perhaps they are enjoy their meals and the drinks, and happiness and excitement are impulses for them to expression their feeling with those objects. So I learned a lot for that. There it's a like system. So everyone, if you in China learn some folk dance, you have to learn that. So yeah. And other things I really want to share my my choreography. It's my graduation work. The name is Work 19 Journey in Mills College MFA dance program. So that's object from my home, my experience, like when I moved to the United States. So it's about immigration, for example. So I choose the chopsticks, and I use every day the bowl and the plates in my work. And okay, I have to read this one because my English is not well. So I'm so sorry. I just find the right line. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Which one? Where? Okay, here. Those are objects me and my family used together back in China and in the United States when they visit me. Those objects were used to create sounds and everyday use, and the sounds got repeat and twist and amplified. So they become part of my work. I want to thank my professor Sheldon to help me in the live performance. After I will show you some my video, the work video, and you can get some detail. I also use the my silk kits that I bought from China. The real silk kits form a strong connect between me and the object, from which expression my strong homesick feeling. So I also use huge sheet of traditional Chinese rice paper in my work. Why I did choose the sheet of paper? Because my mom is an artist. She paintings and works on rice paper. It carries my whole childhood memories and my love for her. I use the paper to wrap around my body, which represents a protection and a shelter for me. The large sheet of paper also contrasts with the small pieces of paper falling down and floating during the dance. So right now I want to share the video. Okay. I want to share the video and you can get something and get some information. The video, my work is a long. The piece is a very longer. We can cut just quick to watch. Yeah. We carry tears in our eyes. Goodbye, Father. Goodbye, Mother. We carry soil in small bags. May home never fade in our hearts. We carry names, stories, memories of our villages, fields, boats. We carry scars from proxy words of greed, generated in mushroom clouds. Deep in our house, built on our ancestors' backs. We carry old homes along the spine, new dreams in our chests. We carry yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We are orphans of the words forced upon us. We are refugees of the sea, rising from industrial wastes. And we carry our mother tongues as we drift in our rubber boats from shore to shore to shore. Okay. I'm back. Thank you for thank you. Okay, I have to read the paragraph because it's a little bit difficult for me. Sorry, I try my best. Objects in the contemporary dance often set limits and boundaries. The object indicates a connection to real life. On the other hand, a dancer's body is free. Without an object, the movement of a dancer can be everything or anything. Once you choose an object to interact with, the change begins. Why do you choose this object, and what's your motivation to have an interaction with the object? The object set the time and space for the dancers, so the movements of a dancers with the presence of an object are influenced by the meaning in oh my gosh, I'm sweating, indicate by this object. The material, weight, form, color, texture of the object also influence the movements and the visual forms of the dance. Object is different from prompts. Object has to be real from real life. It represents own time and space. Yeah. This is my prepared one to share with you. And for the end, I would like to invite everyone. Who want to participate to do some short movements or interaction with the object that I ask you, find some object for the beginning in the show. So we can do something interesting thing. Yeah, and just thinking what's the relationship between your object, and I can do something. And do you need some 1 minute or just for improvisation? Just improvisation. Yeah, let's do that. And I share some music. A little bit. Okay.
You said you want some music?
I prepare some music. If
you prepared some music. Good.
No. If you want to do some music, yeah, it's best.
No, go
No,
for
just go ahead.
It's your music. Yeah, we love to hear your music.
Okay. Okay. Okay, are you ready? Let's start. Yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, everyone. Oh, I saw the Sheldon, my Professor Sheldon come. I just show my piece for my MFA. So thank you, Sheldon, for helping me make sound. If you want to share something, or okay.
We'll all have a little open discussion near the end, and I would love to hear, yeah, everyone have their thoughts. Then, lovely guys. If you guys want to unmute yourselves, you can give a little bit of praise. That was wonderful. That was beautiful. Woo! Lovely.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. And we're gonna go on to our next featured artist, and we're gonna pass it on to Dai to introduce our next artist.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. My goodness. Oh, my goodness. So beautiful, so beautiful. Oh, my goodness. Ah, thanks so much. Thank you for sharing. Really yummy. Beautiful. So yeah, Sheldon and Lisa are responsible for us knowing all these beautiful people. Ye, Miguel, Pierre, we all met them through Lisa and Sheldon because we were choreographing for BDP at UC Berkeley. And then they told us about E, and then they introduced us to Miguel and Pierre very casually. Sheldon said, you know, I know these musicians, they're pretty good. I think you guys have some totally meet each other. No pressure, you know. If you think maybe that something could happen, we were like, of course. So they came to the studio and we talked to them and it totally clicked. And we were like, yeah, hey, can you guys make music? And they were like, yes. So they made music. They composed the music for the piece we choreographed for BDP, and it was amazing. And so we're really excited to feature Miguel and Pierre, the brothers, Mariaca. We're working again together. We have a show coming up October 22nd, 23rd in Oakland, and they're gonna be making some amazing sounds for this show. And every time we do Y exchange, we learn so much from the artists. Sometimes we work with them and we don't have enough time to really get to know what they do. And it's that Y exchange that we get to know more. So we're excited. I'm very excited to learn more about Pierre and Miguel. Are you all excited to learn about Miguel and Pierre? Yay! Okay, exciting. I'm just gonna read their bios. Miguel Mariaca is a Swiss composer, sound designer, music producer, and film director based in the Bay Area. As a media composer, he has scored for commercials, films, animations, video games, and dance companies like the LA Philharmonic, 20th Century Fox, Disney, and Hublot. His compositions explore electronic music, visual arts, and contemporary classical music. He blends acoustic and electronic instruments to create ambient soundscapes. Lately, he has developed a new interest in visual notation performance that includes the audience, get ready guys, in the notation to explore a new sonic universe. Pierre Mariaca is a Swiss composer and sound artist based in the Bay Area. His music is mainly composed for acoustic and electronic instruments and has been performed by the Hollywood Studio Symphony, the Mivas Quartet, the Tech Ensemble, the ECCE Ensemble, and the Call Arts Ensemble. His compositions often explore esoteric topics, astrology, tarot, and are in the intersection between contemporary classical music, experimental music, interactive electronics, and improvisation. He's very interested in expanding the sonic possibilities of instruments in an interdisciplinary way. He creates interactive music installations with prepared instruments, piano and harp, performed by musicians and dancers. No further ado, Miguel and Pierre. Think they're frozen. Hello.
No, we're good. We're good. I think, yeah, you were cutting off just a little bit. Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We're really happy to be here and to share what we've been working on the last couple of months and years. So let me share the screen. Give me 2 seconds. Window. I think it's that here. Share sound. Okay, so we should be good. Okay. All right. So today I'm gonna start talking about animated scores. So I think I'll start with the beginning. So it's the animated score combines my interest in music, visual arts, and film directing. So basically, I'll talk about my background really quickly. I did an art school in Switzerland, and I went to study audio engineering in Glasgow in Scotland. Then I worked in a studio as an engineer in Switzerland, and then I started to doing composition for commercials, which I really liked. And then I got really into multimedia, movies, documentary. Everything was interesting to me. So I went to Montreal to work in a post-production house for a little bit. And then I studied in Florida. And finally, I went to Los Angeles to study film scoring. And then I wanted to know also the director point of view. So I studied film directing. And now I'm here in the Bay Area. So basically, yeah, that was the studio. I was in Switzerland with a really nice view. So we had a lot of artists coming just for the view, even people from Northern Africa. So yeah, some design. I worked as a graphic designer too. So you will see how it influenced me. That was in LA, directing in a good studio. That was with my crew. And some of the movies I've done. And then what is an animated score? So it comes from a graphic score. So basically graphic score were done in the 1960s. And it was another way to notate, because sometimes the notation with extended technique, depending on what you were doing, was really complicated to write it on a traditional score. So they find other ways to notate, which were more simple and also that allowed for the performer to improvise. So for example, here, you have to start somewhere, and then, can you see my mouse moving? Okay, good. So then, for example, you can choose that path, and then you can go here, and then you can go up, or you can go, from here and go down. So it's static, but you have to choose a path, and then you have to interpret that. So sometimes if it's high, it could mean the pitch is higher. And lower, and sometimes the thicker the line or the symbol, the louder it is. So this is another example of somebody we met. His name is Wadada, and he works with graphic scores that are beautiful. It's like a painting, but basically you start, for example, from the outside, and he was just instructing us to think about light and like project and do a sound that sounds like light. So you have to start from the outer core, and then you can go, for example, find a point of entry here, and then here you would have to do something different, and then you would go here, you would arrive at this space, and then you could have accent, for example, and like he would give you instructions, but it's not, you have to play this note exactly at that level, and like a traditional notation is. And also, depending if it's multiple musicians, one can play, say the saxophone can start here and do that trip, and then go here and outside, and the piano could enter from here and then go here and just take other routes. So it makes for interesting combination. And also what's interesting, this is another with cymbals. It's like every performance is different because it's not exact notation. So let's say, for example, this would be probably from loud to soft, but you could play a low note, you could play a high note, you could play, here they have notation, but it's never, or most of the time it's not very, very exact. Second, oh, I missed one. This is John Cage, which was an influence on us as well. So here we were at Mills, and Pierre studied also prepared piano. And this is another type of notation where you can see he has some notes, but it's kind of hard to interpret like that. So it's, yeah, it just challenges the performer to do something unusual, maybe, if you're used to traditional notation. This is fun because you can have like sounds that you have to do with your mouth, and then you can see here it goes up and down and up in pitch, and then you would probably have to do those pronunciation like and stuff like that. So this is fun. And what else? Yeah, this one is more colors. So depending on the instrument, you would choose a line, and then you would interpret that color. This is another style. And this, for example, this would be an animated score. So the animated score is the same as the graphic score, but it moves. So basically, here you would have every color or every symbol is equivalent to an articulation. So say you would play short, you would play long, on this place of the instrument, or percussion. So very you hit hard your instrument. And then I'll show you an example. Oh, I think this should be here. Oh, that's good. Oh no, it's not this one. Oh, we'll see another one. This is also animated. Do you have sound? Okay, so that's what you can do. Then give me 1 second. Okay, so then I started doing some notation for with pen and paper. So how I do an animated score. So basically, I start with symbols. So this, for example, would be on the piano. You put your hand on the string, so maybe you can show if you want. Just a second. It's on the low register and it's hand on the string. Can you share, Alex, can you share the piano or pin it maybe so we can see what he's doing? Okay, good. So yeah, so this would be, so he mutes and plays the note. So it plays the harmonic. So I'll play you some of the stuff. So the top line is piano. It's not super loud. The second line is voice. The third line is accordion. So we had to, I wanted to compare it, so I was just trying to think of a symbol that would signify air. And then that's the saxophone. Okay, so basically that's what I draw the symbols, then I meet the performer and I tell him like what can you do, what sounds can you do. So he plays traditional, maybe like on the string. If it's a cello, then he can hit the cello, or like piano, he can put like objects. We can show you after like all the crazy objects we can do with the piano. And then from that, I collect like all the sounds and I start arranging the symbols as to do if you want an arrangement, an edit. So it starts from one thing and then it goes to another one and then it finishes with one thing. Then I draw on Illustrator and then I animate the score on Photoshop. So I'm just gonna play, there's not gonna be no sound, and try to imagine, or you can even like try to find movements for the dancers, but like think about what you would do, and then I'll play you then the audio version so you could see what we've done with it. Okay. Okay, perfect. Then I'll show you so you can hear the sound now. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's this one. Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay. Should be okay. Okay, since we don't have a lot of time, I'm gonna show you now what, like with the view from the piano, what we did. Oh. Okay, so yeah, basically, can you hear us? Because can't seem to hear you for some reason. Okay, I seem to have some technical difficulties because I can't hear, guys. Oh, you're muted. Well, of course. So do you wanna? Do we still have 5 minutes, or are we short on time? Yeah. Okay. Um, Okay, so yeah.
Okay, so I'm Pierre Mariaca and young brother of Miguel. Actually, we are three in the family. So we have a young brother who live in Europe, in Barcelona. I'm very excited to be with you. Thank you, everyone, for inviting us and for this opportunity. We're really happy and excited. So, as when I grew up also in Switzerland, I was very interested in knowing more about human nature and a lot of question about philosophy and all these things since my early age. So I was interested a lot in psychology. I did my study in psychology and parallel I did my study in piano, and then I continued my study in University of Montreal in Canada. And I at some point I started to be very interested in composition. So I started to compose when I was in Montreal. Miguel was also there, and we started to be very interested in composing. So I a little bit blended my interest for psychology, esoterical topics, and composition there. And then in New Orleans, I started to compose for several chamber ensemble, like Miniature of the Tarot. So probably everyone know a little bit the Tarot de Marseille. So this is the card that inspired a little bit this composition, trying to capture in the essence of this card. Then I also started when I was in LA to conduct orchestra, like the Hollywood Studio Symphony. It was a very important moment in my life. I realized how much I love to connect with musicians and to conduct and compose. And then I started also when I was at CounterPulse in Los Angeles to be very interested in installation. So expanding the possibility of the sound. So like we did in the piano. Here I have a harp, also I can show you a little bit how, oh, that's the, you can maybe put the, yeah. So here is like how you prepare a piano, expanding the possibility of the piano by putting some fishing line and object on the piano. It's also what we did in here. So basically, generally we play the piano on the keyboard. When we go to this part, gently develop this part of the prepared piano with objects. So generally, play sounds and you have to get sounds with strings. Page started to put some lines, so this is something I continue to develop with other instruments and adding my new
We are having trouble hearing you when you're far from the microphone.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So then in CalArts, and then when I started to also to work with Miguel and with Kinetech, we we start also to continue this work with her harp. It's also preparation and present that at the time with Kinetech harp. So expanding the possibility of the harp.
Pierre, we can't hear you when the music is playing.
Okay. Yeah, do you hear me? Do you hear me now? No?
Music is pretty loud.
Okay, so we need to stop there. Okay. So here is the interactive installation that we present at ODC. So you can see here the dancer.
Hold on just a second. Are you trying to share the video? It's not coming through. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're sharing your slides right now, but I know you're trying to share the video. So if you can maybe
Oh,
stop.
you
Stop
cannot
sharing.
see the video?
No, we're not seeing the video.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay. Right.
Also, you can't play music and talk at the same time because we cannot hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so here and then 1 second, share, and let's see. Video, oh here,
Okay.
share set, okay. Let me know if that, yeah?
It looks good. Good.
Okay. How are we with the time? Do we have
Yeah, a few more minutes for 3 to 4.
3 to 4? Okay. So just here behind Miguel and I, we have this prepare harp. So it's the harp we used for this installation. So if you guys have some question, I can just present you a little bit the harp. So basically, it's a Celtic harp. And we put some contact mics, so you can see here contact mics to amplify the sound.
We can't hear you when you walk away from the computer, so
Yeah.
one person could talk or something.
We'll present. So, and those contact mics that are taped on the wood of the harp will be amplified with a speaker or an amp. And between the contact mic and the amp, we have pedal effects that modify the sound, put reverb. And so what we were interested also, it's expanding the possibility of the harp for the instruments and also make an installation interactive with the dancer. So here you see, for example, a normal harp would sound just you play with on the strings, but we put object, what we call prepare harp. It's putting object that change the sound of the harp. Alligator clip, for example. So you can hear how when they are together, they click together. Or a mute with the paper, for example. And then we can have some Super Bowl,
mallet that use the percussion player. Then we can use some bow. So for example, a cello bow, a bass bow, or a mini bow. And we can bow the harp with this cello bow. Then there is so many possibilities, but our idea was really to, have a kind of interactive and interdisciplinary installation. So yeah, this is mainly what we developed this last couple of years. So in proper piano, in proper harp, with dancer and with other, we want to develop that, continue to develop that on other objects. Sonify different kind of object or instrument, and yeah, having this kind of interdisciplinary work that we love so much.
That was awesome. Great. Thank you. Is that everything? Or
I think we're pretty much.
That was beautiful. I'm gonna let everyone unmute themselves. I know we have lots of questions. Great job. That was so fun. That was such a fun presentation. All right, so we do have some questions in the chat, and then I'm going to open it for people. You can raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask. But I know we had one question here. Something about, I believe it was Laban notation. Yeah. Is Megan here? Are they here? I don't. Oh yes. Do you want to ask your question?
Oh yeah. I think I was a little bit distracted when you presented about different notations. And I studied Laban-Bartonev movement analysis. So we used some symbols that associate with certain movement qualities and shapes. So I wondered if there's any connection with Laban notation.
Well, not that I know of, but maybe, like John Cage, his partner was a dancer, so maybe there's some link there. I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know enough about the history of graphic scores to tell you about that, but that's very interesting. And yeah, I've been talking to Diane and Wei and the dancers, and they told me about this notation. Yeah. So yeah, it's very interesting. For me, I was really interested in seeing something that we use in music. How can it be used for other disciplines? And also what I love about the score is that if it's a moving score, for me, it's the first time that the audience can see the notation of the music. Because normally when you play a classical piece, only the musician know them and see them, but nobody from the audience sees the notation. So then you can follow what the musicians are reading in real time, and you get more involved in the performance. So I thought that was interesting. So if it's a moving notation for dancer, that would be fantastic. Yeah. Thanks for the question.
Yeah. I'm going to pass it on to Zach so we can switch artists around, and then go to Kurt to go after Zach.
Okay, well, my question is actually for all of the artists. Because all of you are using objects to make sound. And I'm interested in the way in which, as a mover myself, how some objects lend themselves to the sound of an impact, like a drum. So the movement comes with a beat when you stop, whereas other objects initiate a sound when you begin moving. Like if you take the bow and you suddenly move the bow, then it makes the sound. So the beat begins with movement, or the beat ends with movement. So I'm curious to hear from the artists what objects come to mind like I just named a drum and a bow on a string as an impact versus an impulse making sound. For example, the cups, those are impacts, right? They stop and they make a sound. I don't think I heard any impulse sounds coming from Ye Feng's movements, but maybe I missed something.
Should I to?
Yeah, why don't you start and then maybe Pierre. Well, we didn't know who was first anyway.
I want to make sure the question. So we doing Yang, could you tell me for the? I want to make sure.
Zach, I'm not
I
sure
can
if I
simplify.
understand it.
I can simplify the question even more. So, Ye Feng, when you are moving an object and hitting something, your movement makes a beat, like a musical beat, when you stop. But for example, if you have a piece of paper and you tear the paper, the music begins when you begin the movement, not when you stop the movement. So my question is, so now I gave another example. The paper is different than hitting something, right? So I'm curious, other objects that you have experienced that begin with, the sound begins when you begin to move, then the sound begins.
Okay, I never thought the very detail from the sounds, because when I play the paper, I just there have a lot improvisation. Yeah, from my my inside. It's not a reason or something, but for the cups, like traditional Chinese traditional, the make the sounds. I don't know. I learned when I younger. I just learned 1, 2, 3, da la 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 1, 2. Yeah. So maybe I can do some new creation for the cups. Yes.
Yeah, if you put Velcro on the cups, then when you move the cups apart, they go.
I love that.
Yeah, they have different sounds. Yeah.
There is an instrument called the EBO that we use for guitar or in piano that maybe, I think it could be an impulse actually. So it's vibrate and generate a kind of impulsion and make the sound vibrate. Like you can see Miguel is putting an EBO and make the sound vibrate. You hear the EBO, the sound, these sounds of this vibration. Okay. So if he take off the EBO, the sounds disappear, right? Vibration. So here it's.
So also we have the mini bow, so we do
Yeah.
something like. That would be possible.
Yeah. Is it answering your question? Or?
Yes, thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you for that. All right. So we have a limited time, but I want I'm gonna keep letting people ask questions. So try to ask them as concisely as possible, so that's easier for the artist to understand you. So Kurt, you can go next.
Okay, the one side of that question I put in the chat is like, from the music listener, we like, especially say with classical music, we get used to a certain concerto and we say, oh, I like that concerto. And then we hear another orchestra play the concerto. Maybe we like it more, maybe we like it less, but we say, oh, that's the same I can always tell when I'm hearing Brandenburg Concerto No. 3, right? So I wonder if the score is really fluid like this. As the composer, do you give up that intention? Do you say, well, I let the music be live, it's no longer mine? Or do you have the experience even maybe, oh, people get to know this piece and they like that piece, and even though it's different every time, they can recognize it. So I'm curious about that.
Okay, so in my opinion, you can let me know what you think, Pierre. But like, so the graphic score and animated score, in a way, I think they give leeway to give a free pitch, and also every time the piece, if it's different performers or even the same performers, say they're gonna play G, for example, on the Monday performance, on Tuesday they could do a C or an A or another note. And then normally you specify, I want this on a high or low register because it's more like an effect. So I want you to play rhythmically. So you have to follow the rhythm. So that defines the piece in an animated score, because you have to hit when, you know, the red line, when the symbol hits the red line, you have to hit it exactly at the same time. That's the only, well, this and maybe the range and the instrument and the articulation, but it changes a lot. And I think that's, you have to give up the control as a composer for an animated or graphic score, because I think if you want something that's similar, then you have to notate exactly. So I want a C on, and I want this to play exactly at that level and at that time. And then you start with classical like notes, you know, and you put or clusters, or like you write everything down. But I think that's another way to approach, which could give way to improvisation. And then also sometimes that's how the magic happens, you know. Also in Baroque music, they used to improvise. So the piece we hear are static for us, but at the time they were improvising all the time, you know, on a certain piece. So I think it's just another way of notating. It's like you can have this or this, and it's an option. You know, if you want it to sound exactly like this, then you just notate, and then it's exactly what you want.
So then have you been excited? Have you been excited by people's surprise renderings? Like, oh boy, that's great what you just did with that piece. Like,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, when you work with that, when you know the performer, you kind of know what they like to do, and you know, but when it's with a new performer, sometimes you discover sounds and then they play you something, and then you can add that to your vocabulary as a composer. Oh, I didn't know you could do this with the cello, you know? So, oh, I'm gonna invent a symbol for that, and I want you to play it at that time, and then you choose where you hit on the cello. So yeah, it's very exciting on that way. And also, yeah, you discover an instrument and you have a discussion with the musician. Because sometimes as a composer, it's like you do this, you do that, you do that. But sometimes they prefer to do certain things, or it's also a kind of, you discover the musician and also the instrument and what you could do. And it's a dialogue. So it's very interesting for me, this way of meeting the musician, you know.
Thank you so much. That really helps me understand like your love of it even. Yeah.
So
I just wanted to say I included the show that's upcoming. Please take a note of the link in the chat. It's coming up in pretty soon, in less than a month. And we're going to hear the music from Pierre and Miguel there as well. So,
so I have a question. Yeah.
Alex, question, and we have a, okay.
So Miguel, you were sort of in the emphasis of your introduction was as a graphic artist and producer and all of that, and Pierre, yours more as a composer. So now when you're composing music, number one, do you compose together? And number two, how does this, who's drawing and who's composing, and how does that whole thing flow together?
It's funny because everybody asks that sometimes, mostly not because we're brother, but like always when there's two person on a project, it's like one person does that and one person, but sometimes the roles can move. So Normally, I'm more technical, so I'm a sound engineer. I know how to record. I know how to work my way with sound design, computers, stuff like that. He did his bachelor in piano performance, so I mean, I can't touch him on the piano. He's like,
But we
on
compose
another
both,
level. But I'd bring some sounds, or I bring a composition, and then he would say, "Oh, and what if you do this?" Or the other way, he brings something, and I'm like, "Oh, we could do this and that." So sometimes it's always, there's never a rule, and I think that's what exciting, because like I bring some, it's like a meal, like I bring some pasta, he brings the tomato, and then we're like, oh, let's do something. Maybe we'll do this, and maybe we'll make it more spicy today, and tomorrow, no, we'll just put some cream on, But it's more, for us, it's more exciting that way. But yeah, and he's learning technology, and I'm learning more the composition and the instrumentation. So yeah, I think we complete each other in a sense. So, but it's never fixed like that. Otherwise,
and do the graphics affect the composition and vice versa? Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, they
We'll
do.
have to keep going. Yeah, we'll have to keep going. We have a couple questions. Wait, for Yi. One from Christine and one from Wei. Do you want to go first, Wei?
Okay, yes, all right. I go first, and thank you. So it's fascinating talks. Miguel and Pierre, we've been working together. I'm fascinated by the sound you're making, and also this is symbols. It's really fascinating, and wondering what it can do. It has so much freedom to it. But right now I have a question for Yi. Yi, you were like deep, like in Chinese, the soaked in the Oriental. Oh, I think Oriental words today has some connotations that in the Chinese and ethnic classical dance training. So you're very deep into the practice and the training. And now that you also experienced like the Western approach to dance through Muse College, I'm super curious about, from your perspective, what do you see the commonality and the difference between two systems? Do you want me to, shall I用要不要用中文再讲一遍？
No, I got you. I got you. Okay, so wow, this is a big questions, and I still to figure out. But for me, I think it's a very different things. For traditional Chinese traditional folk dance or classical dance or ethnic dance, it's you have to be someone. But in Western culture or the contemporary dance, it's who are you, and you have to be yourself. This is a very different ways. Okay, so for the traditional Chinese traditional dance system, it's how can I say? It's very deeper. And for the contemporary dance system, I'm new, just very new. I just learned 2 years in for my MFA in Muse College, but the move, I think it's not bigger different. It's for the thought and the culture, yeah. And for my experience, if I learn the Mongolia dance, I have to look like Mongolia folk group. And if I learn some like Uyghur dance, I have to look like Uyghur. Where is Feng Ye? Where's my? So it's a totally different things. Yeah.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
We have a question. Do you wanna? Oh yeah, I saw that
I felt that you have a very interesting relationship with your objects. Especially it just depends on how you're using them in different ways. And in the performance you showed us, it seemed like you were both wrestling with the scroll that represented your mother and then releasing her at the same time. I just wanted to ask, with the power of these objects, it seems like these objects control you. How do you release yourself from these objects and become yourself, now that we're talking about who are you versus what was the other one, what are you?
Oh yeah. For the first, for the beginning, when I create the idea from my project, I just think, what should I do? And I have to do some contemporary dance, but it's not work for me. And so I just thought, what about my experience, like immigration experience. So I figure out like my daily life, the everything, and which one is connect with me. So I find the whole thing. For the huge paper, rice paper, it's very difficult because you cannot control the huge big paper, and it's just one times, and I tried to that, and it's not work. So how can I say, I just let it go and free. How can I thought it's my mom, maybe it's my mom, or maybe it's our history, our immigrant history, or it's our something. Every time when I perform with the paper, every time it's not different, totally different. So every time I just thought different thing, and I have some words to connect. Yeah. It's a more improvisation. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, that it's like a conversation that just keeps going on. No, that's really wonderful to hear. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It also makes me think, can you guys hear me? My internet is so terrible. Yeah. It also made me think, this is a really interesting conversation, because it's also making me think so much about identity, that, like even from an object, like you label an object, this is a spoon, and it can only be a spoon, and how we label ourselves, and cannot see anything else other than a spoon is a spoon, and it cannot be anything else. And that how that is happening to ourselves too, by labeling each other. And thinking about the object, and thinking about the paper, for example, that paper is like identity, right? That is not set, that identity is constantly changing, like the paper. So the question of who am I is like the paper. It's constantly changing, right? And yeah, that's interesting to me. I really enjoy the question by, I don't know her name. She's there with Alex and Ben, and it just makes me think about who am I, what am I, labels.
This
Yeah,
is Christine, by the way.
yeah. Thanks for the question. I appreciate it. Anyways, I don't have a question. I just wanted to like say what I'm thinking right now.
I have a
Lovely.
question. Can I ask?
Hannah?
Okay. I think being from China or other places in the world where censorship is very big, and there is a threat to freedom of expression and so forth. So how can you use your art form, your expressive art form, in order to combat the authorities who are trying to censor you? Is that the tool that allows you to fight censorship? That can anybody can answer that question, any of the three of you. Could you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a big question, Hannah. I think they're twisting their brains right now to answer your question. So they
No,
were
we were
not
just
frozen.
we were thinking about the question, but yeah, we don't really, well, I don't know. For us at that stage now, we don't really think about that. And yeah.
Theoretically, is it possible to fool the authorities because they probably don't have the understanding, the artistic or conceptual or abstract? You know, they are more literal. This is what is written, or this is whatever.
Mm-hmm. But
so can be used as a tool? Can you imagine it?
Yeah, yes. I mean, beauty can also be, I think, something that is not revolutionary, but that remind us, like, as human, like we can do beauty with treating each other or art, and it just reminds us that life can be beautiful and not only with craziness around us. Like we live every day. So I think for me, I'm thinking more in the term of trying to remind people that there's still beauty, even though the world can feel bleak sometimes. So have a spark of, hey, it just, there's hope. But for now in my work, I don't integrate that, maybe because I'm not at this level yet, or maybe because I'm not asking myself those questions with my art. I mean, but yeah, I don't know if you have something to say, Pierre.
Hannah, maybe I can give you a little bit perspective of coming from China and coming to US and being involved in the student movement in 1989 and watch how the things change over the past 30, 40 years. And my short answer is things is very complicated. And also the second answer is, to be honest, a lot of people getting tired of politics in China. There's a sense of making better living for everybody, and the politics may change over the time, but it may take time. So it's a really complicated question. I mean, when we meet in private, I can talk more about that with you.
Okay. Yeah. Things are evolving, so we will have much to talk about. Thank you so much.
Next board meeting over the wine.
Anytime.
Thank you all for coming and for staying over. I think there was a question, but we'll have to probably, I think that person left. I can't see them anymore. So Miguel and Pierre, I'll pass it on to you. But please stay in touch by following us at Kinetech Arts. You can also always check our website, kinetecharts.org. I did put a link to the upcoming show, and my apologies, I said free RSP. It's actually a paid RSVP, so please omit the free part. Please support the artists and show up. It's a beautiful beautiful gallery that it's going to be in, and all the artists are flying in from different places. Miguel and Pierre are going to be there. It's something not to be missed. So there's only a few limited spots. The piece is called Sublimation. So please look up Sublimation Eventbrite. Sublimation I don't know what words are, sublimation.com. Yes. So stay in touch, and thank you guys for joining us in this conversation. As always, this is beautiful, and your thoughts, your curiosities, and magic are with us. So
yeah, I wanted to thank you, Alex and Diane and Wei and Sheldon. Thank you so much for introducing us and talking good about us, and Faye for Yi for sharing that with us. Also, yeah, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheldon. Thank you, Regan.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Beautiful people.